So let's go on to number 3. We talked about how uncomfortable probate can be for the family. But let's say that even things are going through probate, and it's going by statute, meaning the state's picking really who's going to receive what. We live in a society in a day and age where divorce is very common. People get remarried. All of a sudden they have stepsons, stepdaughters. How does that affect the probate process, and or does it affect the probate process?
I was just laughing. I'm smiling because I was just thinking of like debates where they ask you a question and they just go and answer something that's completely unrelated to the question. So to your question, which I'll answer. So statutes are really not that. It's not that complicated. It's black and white. Based on what the facts are, we could tell you what's going to happen every time. Okay, you don't have a will. It's going to look to the statute, and it's going to usually go to spouse and minor kids to some degree, depending on whether the kids are a product of you and your spouse or not. And then if there's no spouse, no kids, it goes to like parents, and it goes to siblings, and it goes to grandparents, and it goes to like great uncles, and then it goes down. It goes down. It's like grandparents, and then great uncles, and cousins, and it goes kind of up and over. And ultimately, if you don't have any family, it will inevitably go to the state. But that takes time. And it's another common misconception that it goes to the state if you don't have a will, which is not the case. It will end up in the Department of Unclaimed Funds for a little while. And you can get it back from the Department of Unclaimed Funds. We do it all the time. But that's where it goes. And ultimately, it will go to the state if unclaimed. So now you asked about blended families. That's what you were kind of alluding to, blended families, right?
Right, because you mentioned it goes to the spouse and then the kids. Well, if you get remarried and now have new kids, or have a kid with that new wife, well, now maybe there could be some negative consequences potentially.
Yeah. So take a situation where you have husband has 6 kids, and with wife,
busy man.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. I have 2, and it's a handful. The fact that it's quiet here is, it's a miracle. Say husband has 6 kids and wife has 3 kids. Okay, and say those 3 are from the husband. So in other words, husband has 3 kids from someone else, from either one or more people. If depending on who passes away first, changes who gets what. Okay, so if wife passes away first, things go spouse and then 3 kids in some way like that, depending on if they're minors or not. If husband passes away first, then it's going to go spouse and 6 kids. So blended families is like rolling the dice. Depending on who goes first, depending on where whose kids they are. A lot of times the blended families, you have these families where they've been together a long time, and they treat the kids that are not really the biological kids as their kids, like they're my kids.
Right.
But legally they're not. Legally they get nothing. They're out in the cold. They get nothing. So if you want to change the statute, you have to plan ahead. There's nothing. It's just black and white. Okay. It's like in Florida. Like, I've been married for 20 years, so I should get something, right? There's something called common law marriage. No, you're either married or you're not married in Florida. That's it. So black and white.
Anything else in that area you want to touch upon in terms of the lack of planning, what that could do?
Lack of planning is such a broad.
Well, lack of planning or lack of what happens when you go through probate with the inheritances.
I think for now we'll come back to it later if we think of something.
Haimo.